said, start me on meds, and then I got pregnant. Well, then my migraines went away. I didn't really have them for, oh gosh, probably almost 15 years, maybe 10 to 15 years, something like that. And then as I was getting older, and it appeared it kind of went along with my hormonal cycle, they really ramped up. And then I was getting them on a weekly basis. First of all, it was monthly, then it was weekly. And I really sought out all the traditional types of, medications and neurology appointments, and did the MRI to rule out anything like a brain tumor and other, some more serious, indications that there was something else going on. And honestly, tried a lot of the traditional stuff, and it really just didn't do anything except make me feel really bad, not really stop the migraine. And, it just left me very unsettled and just very frustrated, because I couldn't really get the results I was looking for. So.
Okay. And before you sought out, all the different methods and to see if there was any doctors that could help and whatnot, what were ways that you used to cope at home before getting any medication, before, getting alternatives from outside sources? What were ways that you would cope with your migraines? Or did you feel like they were headaches? Were you not really sure if they were migraines at first?
Well, it was kind of a continuum. I really honestly didn't know if I had migraines back when I first started in 1995, in the early 90s, I should say. And I was a young therapist, and I was living in Arizona, and, a lot of things were going, going the right way. I don't know if I really didn't, think about like what else I could do. After I started, really having a lot of trouble, I started diving into, okay, medication is not going to be my answer. And I went to a really cool neurologist here in Lake Country, and he tried to get some results with some supplements that my daughter had really good results with. It is hereditary, so it is something that runs in people's families. My mom has them, my sister has them, and my daughter, and so do I. So we all have them. And then my other daughter has epilepsy, and it's in the same family. So there is a lot of hereditary factors with migraines, but I didn't really seek out a ton of things until I started really feeling. And then I'm like, wow, I have to start diving into some other things, because I just don't want to take this medication. It just makes me feel horrible, and I just need another alternative. Yeah.
Okay. And so what was kind of that next step? You sought out that it was at the National Headache System.
What I did was I started, I dove into essential oils. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. I did acupuncture, acupressure. I did physical therapy. I did chiropractics. I stopped running because I'm a runner, and I stopped exercising, thinking that maybe it was jarring, my neck. Then I did find out that, I was in a couple of pretty serious car accidents, the kind that you walk away and you go, wow, that really, I'm going to be hurt tomorrow, and you're sore. And I was in a rollover when I was much younger, and I'm certain that I had a concussion, but we didn't do anything for people that had concussions in those days. So I had some trauma. So then my brother is a physical therapist out in Montana, and he believes in a certain type of physical therapy treatment for headaches and for necks. And he tried to help me, probably a decade before I sought them out myself. And then I ended up being a patient model for them, so that I was one of their case studies. And so I flew out there, and they took a look at me, and yeah, I had some pretty serious issues with my neck. And that is the American Headache Institute. I would have you check them out. It's based on, they believe that there is a mechanical issue either at your upper cervical, so the upper part of your neck, or the lower part of your neck. And mine is upper, and those are usually a lot tougher to regulate. And also being an occupational therapist, I worked with a lot of pain patients, And that's what we are, migraine sufferers. So it becomes very difficult to manage people that have pain, because there's a lot of anxiety with it. You don't want to go through pain. You pretty much do whatever you can do to stop whatever, that pain is, whether it's a migraine or, a broken bone or whatever. So that's kind of what I started doing and sort of diving into. And so I started doing their program, and it has helped me significantly. However, I still have migraines. So their principle is based on stretching the upper cervical or the lower cervical neck in a very specialized way. This is dictated by a physical therapist.
Okay.
So you have to, have an order and a physician to write you an order. They have to evaluate you. It's not something you can just start on your own and just start doing it. I'm being followed by my brother. And then there is, positioning. So like we are on our phones, right? And so we're always doing this.
Yes.
And every time you look down, you're not keeping your neck in a good position. So like sitting in a chair right now, I got my legs crossed. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be sitting like this. And we're all sitting up straight now. I'm sure everyone that's listening
Yes.
to this is all like correcting themselves. But that is really the key. And so you have to think about a lifestyle of trying to keep yourself in a better position. That means no reading in bed. Don't go into the bathtub, because that's going to put your neck on a force, like pulling you forward. Your phone needs to be up like this so that you're not looking down. Your computer needs to be at a good angle, and the ergonomics of all of that goes on and on and on. And if you do all those things and do your exercises, the chance that you're going to improve is very high. They have a money back guarantee. That's how strongly they feel about it. Now, there's only one therapist that I'm aware of in Wisconsin area, in Appleton, that is trained in this methodology. So that's what they believe. And for people that have had an injury, or even if you can't really trace it back to something, it's very possible that you did something that is really complementing that to not get better. So they really believe in that. It's just your neck muscles are very tight, and also your neck muscles are very sensitive. So like when physical therapists would be manipulating my neck and stretching, it felt so great, but they were actually causing more damage to it, because it makes the muscles get more tightened. So it's another whole element that I would recommend people look into if they ever wanted to, message me or contact the American Headache Institute. They would be taken care of well, and they can, learn more about it.
And the American Headache Institute, I did look them up, and they list on their website all of the different locations. So if you're not here in Wisconsin, there's other locations across the United States that you can try the method. And what's super interesting, Jennifer, and we didn't know this about each other before this interview, is that I have had whiplash over 4 times. I have been in a car, not driving myself, that it has been hit from behind when I was younger. And it really wasn't until all of those happened and into my 20s that I started getting these headaches, which then became to the point of, one side. And then it just continued to get worse, and then to, vomiting and being sick when I got them. And so, but for years I did try to do like the chiropractic care and whatnot. So what you're saying is, in their method, are they doing stretching and cracking, or is there a whole different method?
They are teaching you how to decrease your symptoms of whatever that is. So there is like a hierarchy of how you get better with your neck. So they teach you how to do the exercises. So it just depends on if your neck is in a certain position. I can decrease the symptoms in my face. Like I'll have triggers in my face. I can feel it in my neck. I can feel it right now because I'm kind of on the edge of getting a headache. I can feel something right here, and I can feel something in my neck. And so then they would tell you certain things to do to try to decrease the symptoms. And they'll say, okay, is that, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is that pain? And because, migraine sufferers, like, we just get through pain. We just do life anyways, unless you're, like you were saying before, vomiting or laying in bed, like it happens to many of us migraine sufferers. I mean, you just kind of do life, and I'm like, I don't know. That's not even that painful, but it is painful. And so then you qualify it, and they teach you how to do it. Basically, you learn how to do a home program. And the beauty of it is that you can get yourself better, but you have to be very, very regimented. You have to be, followed by a PT to show you. There's definitely a learning curve with it. Yeah.
Okay. That is super interesting. I'm going to research that more than just what I did. I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And they have
I'm happy to talk to you privately about it, because it is fascinating. And like I said, my brother has a practice out in Montana, and he has a money back guarantee because he believes that strongly about the program. Yeah.
No, yes, I would love to learn more about that. And we can put like a link below so that other people can find it. Yeah. So they can find it easier. So, trying that, what else aside from that did you try that you feel, because you said you feel that was pretty successful. Like you have gotten some relief from it. You can say at least it was worth the value of, going and doing it in the time. What would be some of those other things that you have found beneficial for you?
Well, I think the biggest thing is looking at like what really can really escalate you, and to be able to get to know know your body. So I'm a caregiver, so I have a very stressful job. My daughter has seizures. She has traumatic falls. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety with all of that. So really is looking at myself on what kinds of things I can do to help alleviate that. So I like to be proactive. So I do a lot of essential oils. I'm a runner, so I like to work out. I do a lot of different types of exercise. I like to find things to relax, so that I find, get in my zen, if you will. I'm a woman of faith, so I pray. I am in a Bible study, so I try to be very well-rounded to help myself. But even in doing all those things, I'm very proactive. I eat very well. I'm a good weight. I feel like, I'm fairly healthy considering, all of this, and they still come. So I try to be proactive in some of the things that I do. And it's, all the people out there watching, migraine sufferers, I mean, no two are alike. And so it's very difficult to treat migraines, because we don't also always know where it came from. And when we do, we always don't have the same results with the same medication or the same treatment. So it's a lot of trial and error. So I just recommend people to look at natural solutions as much as they can, because the medications are very hard on your body. And they don't always work. Hey, if you found something that's awesome. I'm still looking. So I'm still digging to try to figure out more and more what to do. So I do a lot of essential oils. I do a lot of supplements. I try to eat really well. And, like everyone, just trying to cope the best I can with the family unit that I have. So,
right. And, medications for a lot of people, the more you have to take them, so the more recurrent they are, the less effective they become, as your body gets more used to it. And that's what I found is like, I've tried to keep them at a minimum, because I found a medication that finally worked, but it's like not letting them escalate, catching it beforehand. And like you said, I do so many proactive things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, on a daily basis. And when I feel something coming on, even this, like wearing my hair in a ponytail, that can be a trigger. Sometimes, just depending on the day, the weather outside, there is nothing that I have read, like, tons of reports on that. It is on the trigger list that I've seen, but I always notice that when it's gloomy outside, you know what I'm saying? Overcast, more humidity.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot on barometric pressure, but that's the same for epilepsy as well. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of consistencies together, similarities, I should say. And taking care of Megan for 21 years with all that, I mean, we always saw triggers when she was younger, like with weather and stuff. So I think there's a lot of depth there, but I think there is a reason that you have them. And I do think there's some mechanical reasons for pretty much everyone. I think you would be able to trace back, oh yeah. But I also think there's a lot of hormonal stuff going on. There's a lot of interplay going on there.
Yes, I know. Before my cycle, that week before, starting that week before, I would always get them, so I mean, I can time it out too. I have gotten better through the years of having them to notice those triggers, actively then pursue to calm them down so I don't end up in the hospital. So I really go to the hospital about probably once a year, still once or twice a year, where I need hospital treatment for that. Once it gets to the point of vomiting and things like that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's time to go, because you've lost that.
There's nothing at that point that's going to impact it until you get like something that's a little bit a bigger gun for you. Yeah, to do that. So now I brought you on as well because you're kind of like an oil guru. You're online, you have a group, and you talk about the different oils and the benefits of them and whatnot. And obviously, as you being a migraine sufferer and utilizing them for that, that's even more beneficial to discuss because you've actively seen results from it. Yeah. And like I said, it's trial and error, and there's a lot of things that work for people right away. And then there's others that, you have to do quite a few things. I think the thing that you said just before is probably the most important thing is trying to stay in front of it, so doing things proactively. So every morning I use frankincense. And if you don't know what frankincense is, it's the king of oils. It's, it is one that is works at the cellular level. It is co-synergistic, so it works together with other types of oils, and it's one that really can support you cellularly. So I take one underneath my tongue every morning before I brush my teeth. So I have this right in my bathroom, and I'll open it up and I'll just dump it in like that, a couple drops. Okay.
So this one drops or one drop?
What was that?
You do a couple drops or one drop?
A couple drops. Yeah. There's no hard and fast rule. A couple drops, and then I'll brush my teeth. I do that a couple times a day. So that's one thing that I do. The other thing that you can do if you have a really bad headache, or to try to stay on top of it, you can also do something. You just kind of flip your frankincense, or you can do this with peppermint if that is something that would help you. And you can put it on the roof of your mouth. And because frankincense is the king of oils, it actually goes across the blood-brain barrier, and it's able to go directly up into your brain. And I can usually feel it right away, and it really will clear this area out. Because I love frankincense, I'm just going to tell you all the things I use for frankincense. Then I also have a roller. And so like when I'm having a headache, I will use roller balls. Okay. And that's what this is. And you can make these on your own. You can just get a little, this little bottle here with a little roller on the top with some fractionated coconut oil. And if anyone needs to know how to do that, I'm happy to help you. You can just find me at Pink Lady Oils. But I will just put it right on my hairline or right on the area. I love to do this. Put it right on my temples. Now, frankincense is one that's not super strong in the sense that it has a lot of menthol in it. I don't like peppermint that close to my eyes. I mean, I like it because it cools it, but it's too strong for my eyes. It's very strong. So you do want to be very, very careful, and you want to make sure that you're using it with fractionated coconut oil. But the frankincense is really great to roll on. Any of the oils that support for migraines, a roll on is a really great way to do it. doTERRA also has something called the tension blend, and it has a whole lot of great oils in it. I'm not going to read all of them, but there's lavender in it, there's frankincense, there's peppermint, oregano, cilantro, marjoram, there's a whole bunch. And it's the same thing. And people will do the forehead, but they also will go back into the base of your skull. So the base of your skull here, and then your neck, you know, and then you can just rub that in. In fact, you can even get like a little drop, put it in the base of your hand, rub it like this, and then do this kind of thing.
So with those, are they already pre-mixed for you in that roll?
The past tense is, yeah, the past tense comes like this. The frankincense, you can certainly purchase it like this, or you can make your own. Most of these are called touches in the doTERRA world. So you can look up, I'll share a link.
Okay.
That you can look at that, but they do come diluted with the fractionated coconut oil, so you could it's just ready to go. So I love these because you can throw these right in your purse, because you know when you need them, right?
Right.
Not at home. Lavender is another one. Again, you know, I'm giving you a lot of ideas because what works for one person doesn't work for another. Plus, I like to have a lot of arsenal, because when I'm getting a headache, man, I'm just throwing everything at myself so that I can get this thing knocked out and stopped. Mm-hmm. Peppermint's another one. It's a deep oil for opening up your sinuses. So if you possibly have an issue with just clearing sinuses, you can do that same method that I did with the frankincense, you know. And number one, it's going to give you really fresh breath. So thank you very much. The second thing, it's just going to really, I mean, you breathe that in, it's just opening up all my sinuses, and it feels great. So that can be something that really can help stave off a headache, or even help a headache. The other thing that it does is it really alerts you too. So that peppermint is just like a really, really great oil, and you only need 1 drop, people. This one is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it's very potent, but it works. You can also put that in.
Those oils be put into water to drink?
You now, not all oils can, but yes, all of the ones that I just described, with the exception of the past tense, can.
Okay.
Yes. And they also can be put in veggie caps. So the little I don't have one right in front of me. Oh yeah, I do. Veggie caps are also really nice. They're a little clear plastic cap that you can put an oil into. So let's say you don't like the taste of peppermint, for example, it just bothers you. You could just put it right in here and then swallow it.
Oh, just a drop?
A drop, too. Whatever you decide to do. Whatever, you know, if you're doing it for headaches, or if you're doing it for an allergy, but that's called a veggie cap. And you can get those right on doTERRA. You can go to the health food store. They all have them.
They have them too. Okay.
Yeah. So those are some of them. The tension. Then when we're getting into supplements, and then, you know, you have to think about, okay, you know, kind of what do you know, usually people know their body pretty well.
Yeah.
Or you should start thinking about, like, what do you think is causing your headaches? Like, is your stress impacting you? So then you should really be looking at oils and types of treatment that would help relax you. Right. Like, we have a great one called Adaptive, which is amazing, and I roll that on my neck almost as often as I see that oil. I roll it on my neck because I love the smell of it. It makes me feel calm, and that's part of it. And there's a lot of those types of oils that can help the whole stress part. But just headache wise, Copaiba is another one that I take. This is actually a soft gel.
Okay.
And it's already pre-done for you. And I believe there's like 4 or 5 drops of Copaiba in this, but this is what it looks like. So they're very, very small, very easy to swallow. And I will take, you know, 2 of these, 3 of these. Like if I'm getting one in the morning, I'll do that one, and I will do the deep blue polyphenol. And this one is a
what is deep blue oil good? Because I do have one of those. That's what I sniff sometimes.
Okay, so this is actually the polyphenol complex, so it has more than the deep blue in it. So deep blue is for pain, and this has a lot of other things in it. It has frankincense. There you go again. Ginger, green tea, pomegranate, fruit extract, Curmoids, and Resveratrol. So there's a lot of really good things in here that are really going to help with decreasing pain. And so what I do, because we have to remember that, you know, when you put like, you know, Advil and Tylenol, like there's like certain regulations, like, okay, only take so many. These, you know, you should be a little bit more generous with yourself. So if you're getting one, you could take 2 of these, and then if it doesn't work, you could take another 4 in a couple hours, because you're not gonna, it's not gonna hurt your liver. You know, you're just gonna excrete this out. So Deep Blue has been really, really helpful to me to keep things down.
Okay.
So those are kind of the big ones that I think I wanted to talk about. And then we have one other thing that we can do is called the Symphony of the Cells. And it's a very specialized body system with essential oils. And they recommend doing a the inflammation protocol, and I don't even, it must be, it's a nervous system. And so it's just a protocol, and someone would actually be applying a whole bunch of oils down your back, so that you get kind of like a heavy dose of all of these oils. They keep you, you know, they put a warm like towel on you to kind of get it into your system, because on your spine, that will go right into your body, and hopefully it will help with, because your body knows how to heal itself. So this is one of the systems that we also do for people that have migraines. So.
Oh, okay. So that's something through the doTERRA too?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have it done by someone else, because it has to be, it's supposed to be down your spine, but you can also do it like, as you know, like, you know, if you're sitting here, you can, you know, do this kind of a thing, and you can, you know, do it to yourself. But yeah, through doTERRA and your wellness advocates, they can help you to learn more about it and teach you how to do it, and then teach your family members to do it. And it's something that they recommend. When I was like kind of researching, 1 to 2 times a week initially, and then that would change, especially if it's chronic, you know.
Okay.
So.
And I wanted to just kind of run through, because I'm sure, you know, whether people are catching this on the, you know, whether they watch it on the replay or watching it right now, they might be thinking to myself, well, you know, it's not really the stress that I think I get the headaches from. You know, people have all different reasons, but
Right.
These really spoke to me. Obviously, stress is a number one for me. That's like the starter of the headache, right? Lack of sleep. That lack of sleep and stress, when you combine it, which is the life of a caregiver, isn't it? That's what at least I feel. I feel like lack of sleep and stress, hunger, or dehydration. Now I find it with dehydration. I've never gotten a headache because I'm hungry.
No, me either. But alcohol is another one that's good.
Yes, that one is on here too. Foods. There definitely are. Like, I used to be able to eat some Chinese food. Now if I eat Chinese food, like literally, you know, within the hour, I have one. So my favorite, like crab ragout, I don't know if it's the deep fry it's made in or what it is. And I have IBS as well. So I find the things that are triggers for that, if I like lump it, then I get a headache and I'm sick all at the same times. Different additives. Have you ever found, you know, like stevia or things like that to irritate, like different additives on things? No?
Not really.
And alcohol, I don't drink, so I don't know. But I mean, have some people, I have heard that they get headaches from that. Caffeine, well, definitely, because I think you just become addicted to caffeine. And then when you don't have it, medication overuse, smells. Now, smells don't give it to me. It's once I have it, a smell.
That's exactly me. Yeah, that's me too.
Okay. Okay. Light and sounds. How does that affect you?
Well, when I have a migraine, yeah, don't talk to me. And leave me alone and help my head, because I want it to go away, you know?
Right. And if you're listening, please drop below for us. Which ones of these are you experience? I'd love to know that. Lights and sound for me, the minute, my kids can be, well, when they were little, they could be more rambunctious. Now they're older, so it's a little bit better. But whenever I get a migraine, I'm just done. Like, your personality completely changes. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're done talking, you're done everything. And I come in whatever room, whoever's house I'm at, I go in a dark room, close the shades, prop up on the one side of my head. And if I have like ice packs, put them on my head to get rid of it. Weather, which we already talked about, female hormones, which we talked about, that affects me as well. And physical activity. Now I find that that makes it better. That doesn't.
Not me. I can't work out if I have a headache. I would be throwing up for sure. Yeah.
Right.
No
But
way.
I think they're saying that that's a trigger. So I would love to know if anybody gets a headache from being active.
Yeah, when I've overexerted myself, when I've done the few marathons that I've done, and I've done some other like big events in heat. Oh yeah, I totally get overheated, and actually decided the exertion was too much. I got a headache really bad, and I think it's partly dehydration because I don't think my body really works all that great with that, and also I think it's just the exercise that it's just too much for my body, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. And I don't have my period anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in menopause, and, I'm approaching 60 now. And, they still are happening. My mom had headaches, and they went away before, like, as she was starting to go into menopause, they just stopped one day. And I'm like, why can't that happen to me? I'm so, I just need these to go away.
Yes, and I was hoping, I had surgery last year and had, a full hysterectomy, and which, I'm sure that there's many, women listening that have gone through that, kept my ovaries, but that just, it's really the same. You know what I'm saying? My hormones are acting the same. It's the same thing every single month, still, spiking up. And I have really found that with the whole pandemic that we're going through, even though we're used to being home as being a caregiver a little bit more than others might be, just the extra layer of stress and my outside work and employment and that stress, has just really added on. And so I have oils, like literally I've been given oils over time that I have never used. And this was the first time since March that
Cool.
every night they're all sitting by my bed. I'm like, okay, rub them on, stuff, because I really, I don't want to be on migraine medication every day. And, I was
Yeah.
having a really hard time. And then the lack of sleep just from stress, not sleeping at all.
Yeah.
That really has, added to it. So I have become much more of an advocate and, wanting to learn more about oils than I ever have before, because I have found benefit that it has brought it, down a little bit.
Well, we have doTERRA and the team that I am and under it, with Pink Lady Oils. We have as a member, when you decide, I would like to try oils and become a member, you get your prices, low, like, Costco, you get the best prices, you pay a membership fee, whatever. But more importantly is that you have continuing education. And that's really where I think what I feel very proud of is that, I'm learning, but I continue to share knowledge with people that have all different types of challenges. And I think there's a lot of natural solutions that we can do. Is it the end all? No, it's, for one person it may work, then another person it may not work, but to at least give a lot of different natural options a chance, because I think that, over time, you're going to end up finding something. If you're patient enough, you'll find something that's going to impact you in a more natural way.
Right.
And our continuing education is just one of those. And they have one whole hour just carved out just for pain and migraines is in that segment. So, if this is something that's interesting to anyone that's out there listening, I would have you look into it, and for sure they could contact me. I'm happy to help them. And we do online classes now with COVID. We have classes every Tuesday night for people that want to learn the 3 cool things about oils and how to use them. And then they work with me, and then I help them and I teach them how to empower themselves. So, our job is to teach, but it's also, you're a teacher too, learning about your body, like what works, what doesn't work, and, that
Right.
whole thing.
And the biggest thing you're talking about, listening to your body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, like, I like these things, I like to do them, but I need to walk away from them, especially if they're going to stir on headaches and migraines. And, headaches, I don't know that I ever have had headaches per se, which is very interesting. Like, I went from not really having headaches, but, all of a sudden it was always one side and it was always that. And so that's very interesting. And I haven't read a ton about, what are the different reasons for that? Like, how would you just completely skip, because it seems like kind of a transition, but it really isn't. They're completely different.
They are completely different. And there's a lot of different types of headaches. I did have headaches when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to have sinus headaches, and my mom would say, "Oh, you don't have a headache." I'm like, yeah, I do. But I think I don't really know the answer to that, but I'm sure there is a really good neurological answer. I just don't happen to know it.
Right.
But it is, I think, in all, joking aside, migraine diagnosis is super important, but there's so much uncertainty with it and what works. And, just because we, run to a neurologist to look, have them look at us to make sure that we don't have a brain tumor or something that is really impactful in your brain, a venous system issue or something. But the tools that they have, sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they work, and then that's awesome. And if you're happy with the results, that's awesome. But if you don't, there's a lot of other things that you can be looking at, and essential oils will be one of them. Acupuncture, I feel very strongly about a lot of the complementary Western medicine, Reiki, and all of these. I would look into all of them. I loved it, but they never really impacted my the acupuncture and acupressure. None of those really impacted my migraines in a way that I felt that I should continue doing it. It was very relaxing and I loved it, but it didn't really change my outcome. Yeah.
You're right. To get those under control. Well, thank you so much for sharing some time with us today and giving us some of your info on oils. I would love if you could drop like the group, below that. Pink it's the Pink Ladies, right? You guys have the private
oils. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The private group below, and then also the American Headache Institute.
Sure.
You can drop that below as well. And we're going to keep talking about this for the rest of the month. I do have lots of different charts and information up. So if we didn't cover something, make sure that you head over to either Instagram or you're here on Facebook now, kind of scroll through and grab some answers. I also did put some resources aside from the American Headache Institute. Do you have any other big national organizations that you've really checked into or worked in? I know I had dropped a couple of them below, or that's really specifically the one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I kind of lived neurology as a therapist. So, no, I didn't really. I mean, I did get a magazine for a while, but no, I'm sure that you have great information there. Yeah.
All right, so there's a couple of those drop below, and then if you have any questions for Jennifer, you also can reach out to her at the links that she puts, or just put them right below in the comments. But thank you so much, Jennifer, for spending your afternoon with us, and thank you all for joining us right here at the On Air Advocate. You can check out more information about the On Air Advocate at www.onairadvocate.com, and if you want to become part of our private group, you can head up to the top of this Facebook page, hit the blue button, and that will let you into our private group. So on that note, thanks again, Jennifer, and happy Tuesday, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.